And here's the kicker right here. Look at how they're counting assets. Whose assets are these exactly? Let's go ahead and take a look. In its bankruptcy filing, Voyager reported it had over $110 million of cash and owned crypto assets on hand. Whose assets? It has about 1.3 billion of digital assets on its platform. Welcome back, YouTube. So in today's video, we're going to talk about Voyager Capital, pretty much Voyager Digital, and why you guys need to run, because we've been discussing this and bankruptcies and stuff like this pretty much since last month. I've made a couple of videos, even some shorts going into details about how this was going to play out. And it looks like that is happening pretty much down to the T. We're now in the phase where we are pretty much going to be, the crypto is going to be stuck on the exchanges because they're counting it as assets. We're going to take a look here at their filings here in a moment to even see a failed bailout attempt for Voyager, but we're going to pretty much dive a little deeper into why this is happening and what the next steps are going to be. What's happening on Voyager Capital is not going to be limited to Voyager Capital. This is going to happen to a lot of exchanges here, especially as this recession, as the capital, as the volume remains low, and they're not able to generate income to kind of keep that cycle flowing that they use to stay afloat. This is going to put a strain on a lot of these exchanges because of the way that they make money. Now, in the short that I made and in the long form video, I made the point that the reason you can't get your crypto back is because they need it to count it as assets so that they can get loans and bail themselves out pretty much. Your crypto, once you put it on an exchange or if you leave it on the exchange, they never technically turn over ownership. So when you buy your crypto from the exchange, and you say, okay, I'm going to leave it on the exchange, technically the exchange views that as still their crypto. And you can verify this in like the TOS settings and just pretty much how Voyager is pretty much acting now. But let's take a look here at the statement so that you guys can have a better idea. It says the latest casualty from the Terra Luna cryptocurrency collapse. Voyager filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy late Tuesday. The crypto broker, which has been suffering from the default and liquidation of Three Arrows Capital, suspended all activity on its platform last week. The Toronto Stock Exchange halted trading of the stock following the Voyager bankruptcy announcement. And here's the kicker right here. Look at how they're counting assets. Whose assets are these exactly? Let's go ahead and take a look. In its bankruptcy filing, Voyager reported it had over $110 million of cash and owned crypto assets on hand. Whose assets? It has about 1.3 billion of digital assets on its platform. Those assets include more than 650 million in claims against the crypto hedge fund Three Arrows Capital. Last week, a British Virgin Islands court ordered Singapore-based 3AC to liquidate following its default on Bitcoin loans. The 3AC was unable to make payments on its 15,250 Bitcoin, as well as the 350 million USDC it had borrowed from Voyager. Now, this is a very great point because technically they were supposed to loan Voyager some money. Is this the same company that was supposed to loan Voyager some money that already owes it money? We're going to talk about that a little later in the video, but let's talk about these assets that they're listing here as their own, because now you have to kind of say that, okay, what's on the platform, assets on hand, whose assets are being counted as what, and who is the rightful owner of these assets? Because this is what I was talking about even when we look at things like shorts and these heavily shorted coins, something like a Dogecoin or some of these other coins that are shorted really heavily. This is what I meant by when I said that the shorts are running out. That was them closing these positions because you cannot have, they did not want those liabilities on their sheet. And this is literally what we talked about in those previous videos. But when you look at how they're stacking their assets, they're counting all the cryptocurrency that's on their platform as their assets, just like we talked about. And we know that's not the case. That belongs to a bunch of people who were simply holding their assets on the platform, but Voyager is now going to use that as collateral to save themselves. But the benefit of this is, and I won't say it necessarily as a benefit, but the plus side of this is it's Chapter 11 bankruptcy and not Chapter 7. So as of right now, Chapter 11 means that they're taking time to like reorganize their debts and stuff like that. And it's not like, okay, well, you guys can go screw yourself just yet. But the downside of this is, when you start talking about bankruptcy, going to bankruptcy court, reorganizing debts and stuff like this, this is not something that gets resolved in 2 weeks. This is something that you have your crypto on this platform. You may be stuck here for quite some time, possibly months, years, maybe, depending on how this kind of works its way through court. So this is going to be really, really upsetting for a lot of people. And this is to the point that I was making earlier. It says Voyager's Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing shows that Alameda Research owes the firm $376 million, aka the same company many were hoping that would bail out Voyager, already owes them $376 million. And if you look here, you'll see that this is in thousands, but it's in millions. You'll see there at the top here with the interest rates between 1 and 11.5% at 376. I think the only one that owes them more money, obviously, is Three Arrows, which is pretty much over $500 million. And it's from 3% to 10% in capital here that they are pretty much saying they are owed. So this is what happens. This is what we're talking about how these exchanges make money. And it's not even like they're doing something new with your crypto, because technically this is what they were doing all along. It's just that you had, as long as there wasn't like a strain on liquidity, you had access to remove your crypto at will. Now there's a strain on liquidity. This is a big issue, but technically they were using your assets as kind of like a hedge or as collateral. So technically they're doing the same thing. It's just that you don't have access to your crypto, because this is the only reason that they were giving them money is because of quote unquote their assets on hand. And this comes back to the point that I've been discussing I started discussing, I believe, like October and November of last year, is that you have to own your own keys. This is not exclusive to Voyager. Voyager just may be the first to file for bankruptcy, but that does not mean that this is over. It is extremely important that you do not have your crypto on these exchanges. When you leave your crypto on these exchanges, you're turning over ownership and you're at the mercy of their liquidity, what the deals that they've made, and these interest rates, and whether or not they can actually get capital. Otherwise, they will hold it hostage to save themselves. They are not people first or customer service oriented and stuff like that. There are, how do we make money and how do we save ourselves first, and we will do whatever. So you have to make sure that you're protecting yourself and get yourself something like a cold storage. They do have what you would call like hot or warm storages as well online. I personally believe that it's in my opinion that it's best to have it completely offline so that there is no type of funny business. And I do that with a ledger. I have a link in the description where you can go directly to the site and get your ledger with no malware, no BS. And as we continue removing our coins from the exchanges, we're going to see more and more of this. And they're going to have two choices. Either they're going to have to operate more ethically, or they're going to have to reduce the recklessness that they've been carrying on for the last couple of years with pretty much this unlimited, creating wraparound tokens. You can loan out, you can short all you want, give us all the money, everything's all good. And I think that as we kind of like wise up and remove our coins, this is going to kind of forcibly change the dynamic of the crypto market. You guys be safe out there. I wish you all well. Thank you for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel, obviously, if you want to hear more from me. Thank you guys for the birthday wishes. I appreciate all of you, and I will see you next time.